Laptop computer spins onto the screen, opens, and displays ATP Education Program webinar series, closes, and then spins off the screen.
Hi, I'm Kelly Key, Assistive Technology Coordinator in Barrington, Illinois. I have been in the field of special education for over 25 years as an administrator, a special education teacher, and the Assistive Technology Coordinator. In today's series, I'm excited to share with you tips for modeling AAC. So regardless of what the activity is, these are skills that you can use all day throughout the day to encourage communication, generalization, language, and independence. And before I begin with modeling, I think there's something very important I need to share, that you never want to miss an opportunity to communicate. And I love this quote from Practical AAC. It says, if you can see the student, you should be able to see their AAC. So the students should have it with them and take ownership at all times. This is a 3-year-old in our district that has taken ownership from day one, because that's the expectation. I also love the 3-second rule, that core supports should be at arm's length within, and you should be able to obtain it within 3 seconds. I think that came from Caroline Musselwhite. So you always want that AAC again to be available. Within 3 seconds, you should be able to have your hands on it and modeling. So we're going to talk about modeling, which is talking to the student on their device. So a little bit more about modeling. In our district, we call it modeling, but it also, you'll hear it referred to as aided language input, partner augmented input, or aided language stimulation. It all means the same thing, which is communication partners like school staff, parents, and peers, etc., use visual language themselves by pointing to the words and symbols on the student's communication board or device while simultaneously talking. We always want to make sure we have that verbal model as well as the visual model. And here's an example.
You are reaching for the ball over there. I think you're telling me I want the ball. Ball is something we play with. It's a toy. Ball. I want the ball. Tell me, what do you want?
Here's another example. Now, this teacher is very well versed. She's modeling on a core board in front of the whole class, and a large core board. You'll notice she is pointing to every symbol as she talks. I'm going to share a variety of tips throughout this presentation. And one of the tips is you do not have to point to every word as you say them, but she's very well versed. And so she does it, and she does do it in a nice slow manner so the students are able to see what she's modeling.
Monster shake, monster munch, munch, munch. I want to eat a sword for lunch.
I noticed there was no fringe for lunch, so she didn't model those, but so those are 2 examples, one on a device and one on a core board. So why do we model? So during the first year or so, typically developing babies don't always understand what we are talking to them about, but we don't ever stop talking to them. So they don't learn verbal language through instruction, they learn it through modeling. Think of a child in your life, and what was his or her first word? How many times do you think they heard that word being modeled verbally before actually saying it out loud? And how did we respond to that child when they did say their first word? It's very similar when we're modeling on AAC, core boards, or devices. So if a student is going to learn the communication using a board or device to expand language, understand word meaning, and learn how to put combinations of words together, he or she must be provided with repeated models of interactive use. And again, your response to their communication means so much, and we will talk about that. So who should be modeling? Teachers, therapists, administrators, assistants or paraprofessionals, parents and family members, siblings, peers, really anyone that interacts with the student can and should be modeling. In our district, we have an incentive program, and Gail Van Tatenhove and I have presented together a few times. And during one of our presentations, she came up with this incredible idea, and it was the next top model. And so in our district, we took it a step further and we created the definition of what a modeler should look like in the district. And we have a variety of different incentives that we then give staff. If they earn tickets once a month, they turn the tickets into me. When people catch them modeling, they get a ticket. They write their name and school on there. Once a month, then I will pull a ticket for the drawing. And I'll show you today, I actually have one of our giveaway t-shirts on right now. So I make up some different slogans or different visuals, put them on bags and t-shirts, and give those away, as well as gift cards. So how much modeling is needed? Speaking of Gail Van Tatenhove, she said that it takes 50 to 150 models of a word or phrase on the student's device before the student uses that word or phrase on their device. Now that is a little overwhelming, but it does show you how important it is to continue to do that and not give up. So here are a variety of different ways that you can model. The first that I'm going to share is some examples of speaking from your words on the device, from your perspective as the communication partner. Some things you could say are things like, I like that, or let's go to the motor room, or I don't like that. Another option is to provide choices on the board or device. I love doing this both verbally and visually. Some examples, do you want to go fast or slow? And you're pointing to those core words as you are saying it verbally. Who should go next? Giving a choice of two people. And you're again modeling that on the board or device while you're also saying it verbally. Another thing that's so important is respond to their actions. We want to show them that their gestures and their responses, what they're looking like they're trying to do. We want to shape that, and we want to show them how they can use their board or device to help them actually communicate that and model it. So some examples. Oh, I see you are smiling. I wonder if you're saying, and then you model, I like it. And then I usually then go back and ask them, is that right? Or tell me, what are you thinking? Or you are looking over at Miss Ann. I wonder if you're telling me, I want Miss Ann, or Miss Ann, come here. Is that right? Tell me what you want. Another thing is just taking turns. So you are a great role model by answering a question or making a comment or even saying, my turn, and then it's your turn to model. For example, take a turn to share your answer or response. Like if everyone's going around the room and talking about the weather or talking about how they feel, you can then take a turn and say, oh, you know what? I feel happy, or I am feeling tired today. And you're modeling, again, those core phrases. Or like I said, just taking a turn. Taking turns is so powerful. And for a student to be able to say, my turn or your turn, in order to, and then take a turn to play with the toy or do the activity or a turn in a game. Or, you know, oh, I want to play cars, or tell them go or stop. And then I love build up. Build up is something we do so often with our students, and it's so helpful for showing them how to expand their language and use their device to expand that language or board. Again, without making them repeat it. We never want to make AAC or core vocabulary use ever seem like work, and I'll talk about that in a moment. We always want to make it as fun and natural as possible. So some examples of build up. If the student says drink, we wouldn't want to then say, oh, now tell me in a full sentence on your device, but you can model a phrase and build up from what they just said. So if they said drink, you could say, I wonder if you're telling me I need a drink. Is that right? Or you could even just leave it at that. Or a student says, like, you can say, are you telling me I like it? So again, you're building up on what they're saying. You're expanding their phrases. Or the student is upset. Looks like you're telling me I don't want to. And again, you don't have to point to every word that you're saying, especially when you're starting out. It's really just providing them that immersement with that core vocabulary and showing them visually and verbally what you're modeling. So if you were going to say, I like that picture, you could point to I and like as you say it, but that picture, you don't have to point to every word. Oh, I like that picture you made. Another thing that's so important, because literacy and communication go hand in hand, is that modeling letters and spelling too. Make sure the students have access, whether it's low tech or high tech, to a spelling page and a letters page. You can model the first letter of fringe words or even spell them out. You can model the first sound of a student's name or other words. And then you can always encourage them to even give you the first sound or spell a word if it's not on their board or device. So what can we model on? We can model on communication devices, low-tech core boards, large visual displays, mid-tech devices, portable core, and we also have partner-assisted devices. Whatever the student's using, it's very important to use it to talk to them. Here's some additional tips for modeling. The number one thing that I try and do with our staff is really give them time to get comfortable with the device or core board and practice as much as they can. And we have some really fun ways that we do that in our district. We will practice through core songs. So we have some core-based songs that we use with our students, but then during professional development, or if we have even 10 minutes at the beginning of the day, we'll play a core song and we will actually then practice singing that song on the board or device, just to help gain that comfort level and where things are. And then also just playing games. I have some really fun games that the staff and I have come up with, and we really enjoy playing the games while using the boards and devices. We've also done other really fun things like a silent lunch or a silent snack time where you can only use the board or device to talk to people. So it really forces you to gain comfort on where the vocabulary is. We also have found that setting smaller, concrete goals helps with increasing modeling opportunities. So here are some examples. We'll ask the staff, just go ahead and model throughout one activity per day if you're brand new to this. Or model 3 to 4 predetermined core words of the week or core words of the month throughout an activity. Or model at least 2 times per activity. Or every time you walk into a classroom, regardless of the reason, model at least two boards or devices if they have that in the classroom. So having staff set goals for the week is something that I often do following professional development that I give. Also, we want to make sure that we're modeling with a variety of communication functions. So we want to make sure that we're modeling comments, greetings, rejecting, humor, and asking questions. So we also say for every one question, we make 4 other statements. So we want to make sure it's more comments than questions. But here's just an example of a lesson plan that we've adapted from Saltillo, and it really does help staff kind of plan in advance what they are going to model for that specific activity. We also like to share with staff, and this often helps them out by having this visual of a hand. When you're modeling, try to keep a balance of sticking with the 80-20 rule. So we want to model at least 80% core words and 20% fringe. So we'll sometimes say, give me 5. So for your 4 fingers, you'll want to do 4 core words And then on your thumb would be the fringe. So 4 core words for every 1 fringe word. Another thing is modeling is not always seamless. You may have to model upside down, behind you, or on the go. So making sure you're practicing modeling upside down, making sure you're practicing if you have it on the go, whether it's on your lanyard or on your wrist, and then also practice modeling behind you. And that is something that will take time because it is a little bit different motor plan. Some additional partner skills tips. We always want to make communication as natural as possible. I love the phrase inspire, don't require. So model without expectation of a response. And again, like I said, we never want to make it seem like work. We want it to be fun. We never want it to seem like a test. And then I also like to make sure, again, making it as natural as possible, you're going to want to make sure that you, when you're requesting or making comments or asking a question, it's again, just like you would anybody else that's speaking. You wouldn't say, find the dog to somebody that's speaking. If you wanted them to say the word dog, you could ask them, oh, what animal is that? Tell me. Or you wouldn't say, point to a word. No, they're telling you that word. They're saying that word. So you could ask the question like, oh, are you hungry? Or what's it time for? And then when they do communicate with a device, even if it seems random and it's not really, doesn't really go with what you asked or what you commented or what the activity is, I always respond and validate what they said. And then this is my most favorite thing. We always say to make it fun and motivating. So a lot of times I'll play dumb. You never want them again to repeat something like I'll say, okay, it's time to go to PE class. And then you wouldn't want to go, tell me, where are we going? You know, because, well, you just said it. But if you play dumb and you act kind of silly about it, you could say, okay, it's time to go to PE class. What? Oh my gosh, I forgot. Wait, where are we going again? And that kind of silly. And then they'll be like, oh, come on, PE class. You can do fun things like using their interests to motivate them. We always start out with our students high motivators. And those are things that they can talk about and share with you and request. And then again, always just being silly. If it's not fun, it may seem like work. So as being as silly and as fun as possible. We also use a variety of visual attention tools to help with modeling. We've created these. They're just little circles that help give visual attention towards words when we're modeling. I have these little finger prompts I get on Amazon. They're little googly eyes, and a lot of times the students' attention will go straight to those. They also make a little noise when you shake them because the eyes move. And so those are super fun. And then even something like a stylus. And a lot of students don't want you to touch their device, and you need to honor that. But some will let you touch it if you're using a stylus. Other students, you're going to want to make sure you have a low-tech backup of their core pages, because then you can model on those. Or if you're fortunate enough to have a second device to model on, you can do that. But we always want to honor and respect that that is the student's voice, and we want to ask them first. And then build modeling into your routine. Communication happens at all times throughout the day, every day, and there are many opportunities to model. And so our staff, when we first started out, they would write down the activities that they do during the day or that week, and then they write down the core words and phrases that they will plan to model. And even during transitions, sometimes transitions are the best time to model. It's time to go. Let's go line up at the door. We are going to the PE room. And I did want to share 2 curriculums that are already created that you can search online and find out more information about that are excellent. So Matt Baud and Jill Center, they've created the SMORES, slow rate, model, respect and reflect, repeat, expand, and stop. The acronym is SMORES. And then Tabby Jones-Moldberg, she created the model as a master PAL. And that is an acronym as well that you can see here. both excellent curriculums that you can look into if you needed to additional support for you and your staff. And I like to end it with sharing this quote. It says, doing something, even if it isn't perfect, is indefinitely better than doing nothing at all. So don't get overwhelmed. Take the time to gain comfort with your students' boards and devices, and then just do your best to start modeling. And thank you.
Thank you for watching. For more information on the ATP education program, please visit our website at atp.nebraska.gov/education or email us at atp.education@nebraska.gov.